Hello and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to possibly the first video or second video watching, or in this case, kind of just more so listening. This one is going to be an idiot discusses Gundam series. There's quite a bit of Gundam series. It's been going on for quite some time. Um, it's definitely a huge topic. I mean, big enough to have a life size scale model of it put outside of a freaking mall in Japan, um, which I think is awesome. I think getting to see that scale of like recognition for this franchise is it's great. It's kind of like Disney having their own theme park, but here's Gundam having their own giant flipping robot just sitting there looking cool. But anyway, back to the main topic. So, with Gundam having gone on for so long, there's multiple series, and in this video, I'm going to be covering just the mainstays and uh, just throwing a mention in there of what they show, or what kind of grabbed my attention for any of them. I do like all of these, even if some of the designs are kind of goofy. Um, so to start with is the OG Mobile Suit Gundam. So the nickname for the OG Mobile Suit Gundam is the Granddaddy Gundam, and not he, it it is just the mainstay staple for if anybody ever looks up Gundam, that's what you're going to see is that main original mobile suit. Um, Next, and the next few that I'm going to mention are kind of in the same universe. So it's called the Universal Century. When you look at like the model kits, there's Gundam Hathaway, which the the series is called Hathaway, but the Gundam featured in it is not called the Hathaway Gundam. It's something else. Uh, there's Zeta Gundam, which I think was a cool design, and the way they reworked it into the Double Zeta Gundam is kind of cool. The Double Zeta Gundam, I think it was the Double Zeta Gundam that was the base model for one of the model kits that I like, which is the uh, oh, it's a Gundam that transforms into three different little mechs, which reminds me of the more Super Robot franchise, and I thought it was kind of cool. The name's going to escape me again. Every time I do one of these videos and I want to talk about something, I keep forgetting to take notes down. Um, anyway, the this leads on to Victor Gundam. Again, I like the design of it. It has the Victor Gundam has accessory packs to it, and that was kind of a cool concept for me. When you have a giant robot that, while it's good or decent universally, it has specialty add-ons. So there's like a deep space, there's an underwater, there's a sonar, there's a more transport like modifiable, there's missiles, giant rifles. It's it's a fun design. Next would be Gundam X. So Gundam X, the design of it was definitely a huge one, a cool factor to me. It has these solar panels that help charge up and fire its energy weapons. And then there's, of course, Gundam Double X. And following that, there's the Crossbone Gundam, which I didn't write down because I'm kind of an idiot sometimes. Crossbone Gundam was kind of more like Gundam but pirates. Uh, Definitely a fun one. The Unicorn Gundam or the Unicorn series itself is still kind of in that same universe. Again, anything that shows it changing or modifying, I will love. And the way they use the unicorn design to have panels shift and it adjusts to expose these cool glowing pieces underneath it. Again, there's more lore to it. I'm trying not to go too deep into any lore until I get into covering individual series. But the Unicorn Gundam design was pretty cool. Uh, the Turn A Gundam, which is definitely an oddball design and definitely unique, was still it stood out among its peers. It didn't look just boxy, and it didn't look just like bricks on bricks. Some of the crazier and goofier designs that were featured in that series were, in my opinion, pretty cool. Uh, Following that, this isn't in chronological order. I'm trying to group so as much of the series that fit together when I'm talking about them. Um, but anyway, so up next is Seed, and Seed has quite a few spin offs and quite a lot of theoreticals to it as well. The original premise of there being multiple Gundams, each with their own unique abilities, is similar to the Wing Gundam, and Wing Gundam itself has its own unique plays on, well, this specializes in this specializes in that. Um, Seed takes that to a broader range as you see the different pilots grow and the series continue on. There's spin offs, side stories, so on. Double O. So Gundam Double O is what brought me back into Gundam. The design and story for how these Gundams function compared to the regular military mobile suits is I thought it was a cool way of showing the uniqueness, and it helps advance the story with how the Earth forces are trying to match up to the capabilities of these Gundam in the series. After that, there's Gundam Age. Gundam Age is a rather fun play on adaptability with Gundams. So rather than having multiple Gundams that specialize in different things, it has one Gundam that has interchangeable parts to adapt to the needs. So there's like a heavy melee or a heavy brawler style. There's a quicker, stealthier moving. There's heavy weaponry. There's one that looks almost like a small fortress. Uh, Definitely a fun series. I think the designs themselves were kind of cool, and I regret not picking up a lot of the more specialty kits that come with that series. They had them as exclusives to mail orders, and then eventually a P Bandai version. Um, yeah, definitely a fun series. Uh, there's the Build Fighters Try, Build Divers. This is all kids customizing different kits and then being scanned into this virtual reality that they can pilot, and it's a tournament. So you'll see teams of like three. I think it was three that they were supposed to be at. Uh, but again, definitely an odd play on it, and a lot of the custom designs were fun. There's Reconquista in G, which kind of follows with the age style of, sure, there's more than just one or two Gundams in the series, but the main Gundam has different packs to help it adapt and adjust. So similar to Age and similar to the Victory Gundam, and also similar to one of the Gundams from Seed. So Seed has all these different, um, I think they're called fighter packs or something along those lines. But they all each have their own different kind of benefits to the Gundams or to all the mobile suits in general. But I kind of went off topic there, bringing myself back to my list. Up next is the Iron Blooded Orphans. So, Iron Blooded Orphans, I kind of highlighted it a little bit, is a rather brutal series. It features multiple factions, all competing for resources or space or something. There's a genuine fight for resources, and you'll see different factions group together or work together to go against another big threat. The Gundams in it feature different specializations, and the main Gundam for the series, the Barbatos, you see grow, or you see the adaptations that come with it as the character learns to work with it. Mikazuki is he's a very interesting character. He It's kind of in the name. He's an orphan, and he grows to work with this Gundam and see it as part of himself. After that, there is Witch from Mercury. I haven't watched the series, but I do like the designs, and I thought they were kind of an odd spin. It seems like there's a bit of a magic element rather than I won't say entirely reality based, but instead of a more scientific explanation, I think it seemed like there was more magic featured. Uh, G Quux, haven't even looked at the series. Again, I'm trying to keep up with multiple anime, keep to my job, and get my occasional gaming in. So as much as I hate to say that I'm making excuses, I am making excuses, but I think they're a fair assessment. Uh, but G Quux, at least the design looks different and unique. Uh, there's Mobile Fighter G Gundam, which brought a lot of hilarious stereotypes to how they designed the mobile suits. So they have an American mobile suit that looks like a cross between a footballer and a boxer. And they do that with all these different countries. They all have their own unique styles, and it's more of a tournament for resources rather than direct fighting giant wars for resources. Um, I mentioned Gundam Wing earlier, and Gunpla Builders kind of falls under the build fighters aspect, where it's they're customizing these model kits, scanning them in, doing these different tournaments, all those kind of fun stuff. And last but not least, there's SD Gundam, which I you can kind of hear it in my voice. I'm not a huge fan of it. The design is this short, tiny little goofy looking dude with a giant cartoony head. I'm not a huge fan of that design on anything. There are some designs within the series that I did like, and they have their own separate spin-offs and so on and so forth. But that's kind of the main set of series. Like I said, there's side stories, there's a lot more to each main one, and as I go to cover each one, I'm going to include the side stories, and I'm probably going to feature more of the main mobile suits and just comment on the designs rather than the actual story itself. Again, I don't like to spoil things. If there's enough lore that it feels daunting, which I think in Gundam's case, you'd have to be a hardcore Gundam fan to know all the lore of every season. But that's just me. But as I cover these, I'm going to cover more so the designs and highlight which ones more so stand out to me, more so, and kind of go over what unique things I look for from these series. Um, that's about it. I feel like I'm missing a lot, but again, it's a huge franchise with a lot of lore, a lot of story, a lot of model kits, a lot of designs. It's just a lot, and I absolutely adore it. So, with that being said, I want to thank you for your time listening to me ramble about this nonsense. I look forward to editing this and smushing all these pictures into this now 16-minute ramble. If you like the video, feel free to like it, leave a like, leave a comment. If you like what I'm doing with not just the why I like, but more so going into depth with certain things, whether it's from a fan basis or from a lore basis, feel free to let me know. If there's other series you want me to cover or information you want me to cover or discuss, feel free to leave me feedback. Other than that, thank you. Bye.